Welcome back to the class, students. And in today's class, we will see few more topics related to your fourth chapter, that is about uh, www, ARPANET, and internet related things. Okay, so about TCP/IP layer protocols and other things. Okay, so today we are going to see about address resolution protocol, ARP. So address resolution protocol is one of the protocol present in your network layer. It is a protocol of network layer. So in TCP/IP protocol stack or layer model, you are having address resolution protocol in the internet layer or network layer. Okay, so we have seen what are the other protocols like. There are other protocols like internet protocol, IP, ICMP, that is Internet Control Message Protocol, okay, and then ARP and RARP, okay. So ARP is Address Resolution Protocol. Okay. So what is the necessity of Address Resolution Protocol that we are going to see in this current class? Okay. So generally, many of the computers, any computer or any networking device, if it has to be a part of internet, it needs to have a IP address. It needs to have a IP address, okay, or a logical address, okay. So but along with IP address, you also require to have physical address, okay. So for a proper delivery of message or information, okay, you will have IP address over internet. If you need to deliver any message from one computer to another computer, the computers must have the computers will have IP address. They will have IP address, okay. So if they are not having IP address, they will not be you will be not able to connect them, okay. So that is the thing. Now, but along with IP address is a logical address. Logical address, that means it is a, and also it is a temporary address. It is a temporary address. It is not a permanent address. You can, if you are connecting a system to internet, right now it can be a different IP address, and after some time, if you check, that IP address may change. Or if you are turning your system off and again reconnecting to the internet, so your IP address may be different. So there will be a there is a chance of change in IP address, okay. So along with IP address, the communication, actual communication is possible. Along with IP address, you should also have physical address. You should also have a physical address. So the physical address of a device is permanent. It will not change. It will not change. It is always a permanent address. So some this physical address, other name is the physical address is sometimes it is also known as MAC address, okay, or NIC address, okay. And also while we were discussing in the previous chapters, I also said, so at the uh, data link layer, the addressing whatever the uh, devices that are distinguished or identified based upon this physical address. They are identified based upon this physical address. Whereas at network layer, the devices are identified based on IP address. Okay. So for a given device, you may have different IP addresses. The same device at different, if you are connecting it to internet at different times, it may have different IP address. But the physical address of the device will not change. It will always be constant. It will always be constant until you are changing the network card, NIC card. You are replacing NIC card, then only it will change. If you are not replacing, then it will always be the same, okay. So now, so your physical address is very important. Why? Because as IP address is not the same, if you want to exactly identify whether the data is being delivered to the exact proper destination. If you want to know whether the data is being transmitted to proper destination, then it is definite, then it is must to know the physical address. Okay, but whenever you are transmitting the information, whenever you are transmitting information, you will use only IP address. You will use only IP address whenever you are in your packet information, whatever the packets, data packets that are being transmitted, in within the data packets, it will only have the IP address. It will not have the physical address. So in order to, but you require physical address for the communication success, for the successful communication to happen. Okay, so for that purpose there should be a provision where by using the IP address you should be able to get the physical address. Okay, so it will, so in a network it will not ask for the user to enter his physical address. It will automatically try to generate the physical address. So the method of automatically generating physical address by using IP address is this ARP, that is address resolution protocol. Okay, so address resolution protocol comes into picture where it uses the IP address, and by using the IP address it fetches the physical address of certain device, so that you will be able to complete the communication. You will be able to complete the communication. Okay, so this is a diagrammatic representation. Okay, so in this it is the function of address resolution protocol is represented in this diagram. Okay, so here you can see, so generally you will give your IP address as the input. You will give your IP address as the input. So by taking this IP address as the input, the address resolution protocol, it accepts the IP address, and by using this IP address, it will give back the physical address. It will get the uh, physical address that is binded to this IP address. Okay, whatever the system with this physical address that is binded with IP address, so that is so your address resolution protocol accepts the IP address and it gives the physical address. It gives the physical address. Okay, so at the end you are having physical address, and once you have the physical address, you will be able to properly transmit the information. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is represented in this block diagram. Okay, so now let us see how the, what is the operation of address resolution protocol. Let us see what is the operation of address resolution protocol. So in this address resolution protocol, okay, so for example, this router, if it wants to know physical address of a certain IP address, okay, if it wants to know physical address of IP address, okay, so how does it happen? So if this router wants to know, so for example, if any information is coming from this end, if any information is coming from this end, so the within that information it is having destination address is 151.23.56.23, something like this. So if it is having this as the destination IP address, so then what happens? So once it reaches this router, then it should identify what is the physical address. It should identify what is the physical address. So in order to identify what is the physical address, so this router identifies the physical address by using, by broadcasting this IP address among the all the systems that are connected to this router. Okay, it will try to broadcast a packet information. Okay, some sort of control information, and that control information will be broadcasted to all the systems that are connected to that router. After, and by using that, it will fetch the physical address. So let us see how that happens. So here, when once this router gets any information, okay, and that information has this IP address. So for example, as I said, 141.223.56.23. Okay, so this is the IP address. So this IP address, so it will send this sort of information. So it will send a control information in which it will have IP address, and it will request whoever is the whatever system is having this IP address, please respond with their physical address. Okay, please respond with the, so whoever who whatever system that is connected to this IP address, please respond with your physical address. Please respond with your physical address. So this message is transmitted. So this message is transmitted among all the systems. So all the systems get this message, and they will try to check their IP address. They will check the IP address with the, they will compare the their own IP address with the IP address present in the control message. They will compare the IP address of their own system with the IP address that is present in this message. Okay, after comparison, all the systems will try to compare. So only one system, see, your IP address is unique. That means a specific IP address is only given to a specific system. There is no same IP address is not given for multiple systems. Okay, unique IP address is given for a single system. A unique IP address is given for a single system. So whoever system is having this IP address, that system will respond with its physical address. That's system will respond with its physical address. Okay, so that is why it is known as ARP request. ARP request is a message. ARP request, what is the format of ARP request message means? It will have the IP address. ARP request message or ARP request packet. Okay, ARP request packet will have the IP address. Whatever the physical address it wants to know, it will have that system's IP address. Okay, whatever the system's physical address which it wants to know, it will have that system's IP address, and that request will be transmitted, broadcasted to all the systems that are connected to that router. Okay, and that is known as ARP request packet. Okay, so that is the thing here, something like that. Now this is the response. This is the response. So for example, here this system is having this IP address. Okay, this system IP address is 141.23.56.23. Okay, so this system will respond with its physical address. It will respond with its physical address. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I am the node you are looking for, and my physical address is so and so. So it will send back the ARP response packet. Whatever the system which with whose IP address the ARP request IP address is matching, whatever the system whose IP address matches with ARP request IP address, that system will respond with its physical address. That system will respond with its physical address to the router. Okay, so now the router will know what is the physical address and what is the IP address and what is the physical address of the system. It has both physical and IP address. Now at the, why, because at the data link level it has to use the physical address to transmit the data. It has to use the physical address to transmit the data. So that is the thing. So now it has the physical address, and by using it, it can transmit the data. Okay. So there are many requirements of knowing the physical address. Why? Because sometimes, see, once you can change, you can have different IP address for different systems. Okay, but you cannot have the you will have always the permanent physical address. So what happens, so once if you are transmitting any message, or once if you are receiving any message by using the physical address, you can exactly say who the user is, who the user is. And if there are any uh, what some, if the person is trying to create some communal violence, or unethical, if he's trying to use internet for unethical purpose, if he's spreading some rumors, or if he's spreading some false messages, okay, so some communal type of disturbances, or some hatred message, okay, which are so they can quickly identify who the user is. How can they quickly identify who the user is? It is based on the physical address. Because whenever the data is exchanged between the computers, it not only uses IP address, it also tries to use the physical address. Along with IP address, internally it will also access the physical address, and based on the physical address, the data will be transmitted. So when they are accessing the physical address of a IP address, okay, whenever they are accessing the physical address that is binded with the IP address, they will be able to access what is the device. They will be able to know from which device that the data has been transmitted. And by knowing that once they know the physical address, they can easily identify who the user is. Why? Because whenever you buy a computer, it will have, they'll try to have the your database. They will have the database, whose system, which system is brought by which user. They will have your address, they will have your identity cards, okay, so that they will be able to easily identify it and locate it. Okay, they will be easily able to locate what is the location. Okay, so like that. So it is sometimes it solves the it proves it provides some sort of security in whatever I have said. So once you, they can easily identify uh, who the user is. Okay, and also sometimes what happens, some user may uh, he may uh, get out of the network. He may he is that means uh, he may come out of the network. Okay, so that time uh, based on the, if he is attached to IP address, okay, and if he is coming out of the network, so suppose if I am using that IP address and I am sending message, suppose if I am using the IP address and I am sending the message, and till now, even now that IP address is attached to that user, even now that IP address is attached to the user, but if that user is not in the network, if that user is not in the network, and if I am using that IP address to send some information, so he is not in network. If he is not in network, it is waste of resource to send him the messages. It is waste of time to send him the messages. So due to that, due to that, it will try to ask, by using the IP address, it will try to ask the physical address. So for example, if this system, whatever this system is there, if it is, if he comes out of the network, if he gets if he disconnects, or if he uh, uh, if he comes out of the this system, if he comes out of this network, if he comes out of this network, and even if by mistake still this IP address is attached to him, if this IP address is attached to him, so suppose if anyone is sending message to this IP address, so now what this router will first try to get the IP address. Sorry, first it will try to get the physical address. So while getting the physical address, it will ask all the systems. So if any system is not responding, that means that the, so whatever the system with the specific IP address, it is not part of network. It has come out of the network. It has been it has moved away from the network, or it has been disengaged from the network. It is not engaged in the network, it has come out of the network. So you can know, so this system can say that, so whatever the IP address is there, it is not, it is now nowhere in the network, and this IP address can be once again issued to the other systems. It can be issued to the other systems. Okay, in that way you can save your IP address. In that way you can save your IP address. Okay, so even for that purpose also you can use this address resolution protocol. Even for that purpose you can use this physical address. Okay, so the purpose of converting IP address to physical address is, as I said, one, you can identify at ground level, you can identify who the actual user is actually transmitting the data and receiving the data. And if there are any errors, something like that, you can uh, you can if there are any, if they are misusing, you can report it. You can try to easily identify. And one more thing is, if there are any modifications in the network, if a new device is added or if a device is deleted from the network, then also by using this address resolution protocol, your router can understand what are the new devices that are attached and what are the devices that are deleted by using this address resolution protocol. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is about your ARP. Okay, simple. Just remember, ARP means address resolution protocol. An address resolution protocol, it will accept the IP address and it will try to convert the IP address into the IP address is converted to physical address. Okay, now how it does means by using broadcasting the by sending ARP request packet to all the systems that are connected to the router. It will send a ARP request packet, and that ARP request packet has the IP address. It will have the IP address whose physical address has to be known. It will have the IP address of the system whose physical address has to be known. Okay, so it will be broadcasted to all the systems. Okay, and all the systems will compare their own IP address with the ARP request IP address present in the ARP request. They'll cross check, and whatever the system that has whatever the system whose IP address matches with that ARP request packet, that will respond, and based on that it will understand what is the physical address. Okay, that it will respond with the physical address, and your router will have physical address, and by using that physical address the delivery happens. Okay, so this is about ARP and its operation. Now let us move on to one more topic, that is function of ports and sockets. So first let us see what is port. Okay, so a port is nothing but a 16-bit unique number allocated to particular application. Okay, so whenever you take your computer, it is having different applications, different network related application. For example, WhatsApp is one application, your Facebook or Instagram is one application, Facebook is one application, and if there are many other internet related applications like WeChat. Okay, and many more. Okay, YouTube. Okay, and there are many internet related applications. Okay, so if you want to connect to internet, if your system wants to connect to internet, that system should have a IP address. A unique IP address, so that it will be connected to the internet. Okay, so that is only one part. But once your system is connected to internet, the whatever the message that is transmitted or whatever the message that is received, it is not for all the applications. Suppose if you want to send a WhatsApp message, so what is the application you will be using? You will be using a WhatsApp application. Okay, on the other end, if you are transmitting the message by using your WhatsApp, on the other side your friend also should use the same application to receive the message. He will be also using the same application and he will be receiving the message. Okay, so in that way, different applications, different internet related applications. So so that means a communication will be between application to application. In internet, the actual communication happens between application and application. So one application from one system tries to send request, and the other application will try to send response. Okay, So in the at the internet level, the actual communication is between applications, and these applications are present within a system or within a computer or within a laptop or a mobile phone or anything. Okay, so that is a final communication. Actual communication happens between application to application. Okay, so your system has a lot of applications. There is no limit to the number of applications that are present in system. Okay, so your IP address will it will send the it is only a link between the systems. It is not the link between applications. It is not the link between applications. So in order to identify what is the specific applications in your system, you are having many applications. So out of these applications, what is the application, what is the unique application? So for that, in order to identify application, each application is identified with a 16-bit unique number. Each IP address is identified by 16-bit unique number. Okay, so that 16-bit unique number is known as port number. It is known as port number. Okay, so a port number will identify a single application on a computer. It will try to identify a specific application on a computer, okay, by using the port number. Okay, so application to application communication is only possible if you know what is the port number of that application. If you know the port number of application, then only it will be able to communicate with the then only it will be able to it is possible for application to application communication. Okay, so for example, here you can see. Okay, so here, if this system wants to communicate with this application, so here you are having one application A, and so this application A, whenever it wants to communicate with this application B, so for, from this system, okay, so it should have two things. One is it should, and so here X is a system, and in X you are having this application, and in Y you are having this application B. In X you are having application A, and in Y you are having application B. Now whenever the application A present on X wants to communicate with application B present on Y, it should have two things. It should have two things. One is it should have the IP address. One is it should have the IP address. Why you should have IP address? You should have IP address. Why? Because it should have the destination IP address. So it should have the destination IP address. So the destination IP address will lead to this system. The destination IP address will lead to the system. So if you are having any other system, suppose if you are having Z, if you are having Z, and even in Z the application port number will be 80. The application port number will not change. It is the same. For example, if I am having WhatsApp in my mobile phone, so it will have a port number. It will have a port number. Suppose let us assume some 40, let it be 40. I'm just assuming, it is not the actual port number. So let 40 be the WhatsApp port number. So suppose in your system you are having WhatsApp, so even the port number of your WhatsApp in your system is also 40. The port number will not change for a same application running in different computers or different internet related applications, appliances like laptop or mobile phones or notepad, anything. Okay, same application will have same port number. Same application will have same port number. It will not change. It will not change. So the port number is a unique. Each application will have a unique port number, but it will be same in all systems. It will be same in all systems. So for the so first thing is, from a computer it has to reach to the destination computer. Okay, any message from one computer, it has to reach the destination computer. So if it has to reach the destination computer, it should have the destination computer's IP address. It should have the destination computer's IP address. Now once it reaches the destination computer, then there are multiple applications. So from that, it has to identify what is the actual application. With which I want to communicate. Then there you will be using port number. So here, so first the packets of information will have the IP address. So by using this IP address, X will be connected to Y. And whatever the information from X, it will be transmitted to Y. Whatever the information that is there from X, it will be transmitted to Y. After reaching Y, the packet, this packet of information, then it will identify what is the port number. At Y, it will, after reaching the Y, it will check the port number. With Y, it will check the port number. So after checking the port number, Y will identify based on the port number what is the application to which this information has to be delivered. Okay, it will identify based on the port number which application will be able to open this message or open this data. Okay, or whatever the data that which application, for which application this intended data is, for which application this data is intended, is only known by knowing the port number. So then the complete delivery is complete. Okay, so once it knows the port number, it transmits that message to that specific application, and once the data is transmitted to that specific application, then the data delivery is complete. Okay, so in this way you are able to transmit the data. From one application to other application. Okay, so that is the purpose of port number, and I think you are able to understand. Okay, so this is the use of port number. Now let's move on. So along with, now you are having socket address. Okay, so a socket address is nothing but a concatenation of IP address and port number. It is nothing but it is a combination of IP address and the port number. Okay, so for a successful delivery of information, in internet, you need to have IP address as well as port number. You need to have both IP address and port number. So one IP address is for reaching the destination, host or destination system, and your port number is to reach to the exact application. It is something similar to your apartment. So first you should know apartment number. You should know apartment name of the apartment. If you know only the name of apartment, then you can reach that apartment. Okay, after knowing the name of apartment, there are many flats, some 20-30 flats. Okay, out of the 20-30 flats, you should know which flat you have to go. Okay, so in order to know what is your destination flat, you should know the flat number. If you only know flat number and if you don't know the apartment, there is no use. Why? Because there are different apartments. Okay, there are many apartments with the same flat number. Okay, so there is no use if you only know the flat number. Okay, and if you only know the apartment name, then also there is no use. Why? Because within apartment there are many flats. Okay, so both flat number and flat apartment name are important. Here apartment name is something similar to your IP address, and flat number is similar to your port number. Okay, by using both of them, you will be able to send the information. Okay, so here similarly you are having the, So sometimes you may forget a flat number and sometimes you may forget the apartment name. Okay, to avoid that thing, to avoid such things. Okay, so to see that both IP address and port number are required. So you are having a socket number or socket address. Sometimes it is known as socket address. So in a socket address, whenever you are trying to send the information, it will try to share the socket address. It will try to share the socket address. So if it is using socket address, that means it will have both IP address and port number. So when both are there, then there is no chance of mistake. Then there is no chance of mistake. Okay. So a complete message delivery is possible by using both of them. So here a pair of socket numbers identifies the TCP connection between two applications on two computers communicating with each other. Okay. So a socket number identifies the TCP connection is established between application to application. Application to application communication is possible by using TCP connection. By using TCP connection. So that TCP connection is possible by using your by using the by using this socket number. By using the socket number, application to application communication is done. Okay, so here that is the socket address. So in simple way, socket address is concatenation of IP address and port number. So here you can see IP address plus port number will give you the socket number, and the purpose of socket number is complete delivery. If you know the socket number, you can know what is the destination as well as what is the application. So you can have a complete path from source to destination. So two socket numbers will give you, that is a pair of socket numbers will give what is the system and what is the application trying to communicate with other system and what is the application. Okay, so this system, the source system will have IP address, and from one application you will be sending the information. On the destination system, you will identify the system based on the IP address, and you will identify the application based on its port number. Okay, so pair of socket address will give you the complete message delivery. Okay, so here this is the thing, socket address is represented something like this. A socket address is represented with IP address colon port number. Okay, a socket address representation or the syntax of a socket address is IP address colon, then it has a port number. Okay, a colon is used to separate IP address and port number. A colon is used to separate IP address and port number. Okay. So for example, in the previous class or a previous not class, in the previous topic we have seen. Okay, so for example, if you are having this IP address and this is the port number. Okay, if you want to concatenate this IP address with this port number, so if you want to generate the socket address, and that socket address has the IP address, and if it has this as the port number, then the socket number or the socket address is 19, it looks like this. So this part is 192.20.10.10, it is the IP address. Then it has colon, after colon you are having 80. Okay, so this is the socket number. This is the socket. Okay. So I think you are able to follow what is the socket. Sometimes they say socket number, sometimes they say socket address. Okay, so whatever they say, it is the same, it means the same. It is nothing but concatenation of IP address as well as port number. Okay, so I think you are able to understand these two simple concepts. Okay, now moving on, let us see what is the uses of gateway and what is a gateway. Okay, gateway is nothing but it is a uh, it is a hardware software combination. It is a hardware software combination, and that is used to perform data inflows and outflows of different types of networks. Okay, so it will try to, it is a networking hardware, okay, and it is used to allow the flow of data between different kinds of networks. If two different kinds of networks are trying to communicate with each other, okay, if you are having one system that is on one different type of network, and if you are having another system on another different computer network, and if they want to communicate with each other, then there will be many differences. They cannot directly communicate, because there will be changes in packet formats. There will be differences in frame formats, protocols, okay. So there are many differences. So if they are just trying to communicate, the so one network, one system will not be able to understand what is the other system trying to uh, what the other system is sending, and in vice versa, they will not be able to understand each other's requests and responses. Okay. So for that purpose, you need to have a gateway. Okay. So sometimes you can also say routers and all switches, they all act as gateways. They all act as gateways, but the difference between gateway and router is, okay, a router will only operate at bottom three OSI layers. And also in previous classes also we have discussed about routers. In the previous sessions also. So in previous sessions we have discussed about routers. When we discussed about routers, I have also shown the diagram. Okay. So how the routers, they'll try to perform the network layer up to network layer only, that is bottom three layers, okay. Whereas a gateway can operate at any of the seven layers. It can operate at any of the given seven layers, okay. So not only bottom three, it can operate at the any seven layers. That means a gateway can perform the operations of even a router. It can also perform the operation of routers. Now right now there are different types of gateways. We are having different types of gateways, like IoT gateway. Proxy server is also sometimes known as a gateway, okay. Cloud gateway, okay. So different types of gateways are there, okay. So all these gateways, they will try to convert protocols, okay. So for example, a router is used when two different types of networks are able to communicate, but that they are the transmission protocol is common, okay. The transmission protocol is common, that is TCP/IP. But in a gateway, if the transmission protocol is different, one is using some novel network, and another uh, network is using some TCP, okay. So at that time your router will not be able to uh, provide fruitful communication. So at that time you need a gateway, okay. So a gateway will be useful to perform higher level protocol translations, okay. So that is at transport layer level or at application layer level, okay. So at that level, whatever the protocol conversions are to be made, it is possible only by using gateway. Okay. So a gateway will be able to perform provide the fruitful communication when the protocol conversions are at a higher level, okay. So here you can see a gateway has to not only have the ability of translating between different frame format, but also different protocols, okay. Not only frame and packets, but also it has to be able to perform the protocol conversion, okay. A gateway is aware and can work with protocols used by each network connected to a router, so it can so here you can see, this diagram shows that here this gateway can operate at all the seven layers. It can operate at all the seven layers, okay. So generally a gateway is suitable when the two networks that are trying to communicate with each other, they are operating with different transmission protocols, or different application layer protocols. There should be some translation from one application layer protocol to another application protocol, something like that. Okay, so at that time you can use the gateway. At that time, so if you are at such scenario, if there are different transmission protocols, at that scenario, your router will not be suitable. Your router cannot provide proper communication between two networks. At that situation, you only need to, the device that is suitable is your gate. Okay, so this is about your gate. Okay, so now right now in computer network terminology, you can say they will also, even your proxy server is termed as gateway. Your router is also sometimes termed as gateway. Okay, so gateway is nothing but, it is a, see, for example, whenever some person is entering into, he wants to enter into your home, so what is the first thing he has to enter? He has to enter through your gate. And whenever a person is leaving out of your home premises, so he will leave out through gate. So even if you take this college, if you are inside the college, means you are within, you will first enter into the gate of the college, then you can say you are in the college. Now if you are out of the college, means you will get out of the gate. So all these networking devices like router, modems, okay, sometimes they are also known as gateways. They are also called as gateways, but actual gateway is actually, in in this topic perspective, gateway is nothing but it is a network device which is a combination of hardware and software, which will be able to operate at the all the 7 layers. Okay, and this gateway is suitable for uh, if two networks are trying to communicate with different transmission protocols. At that place you will be using this gateway. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, I think you are able to follow me. Okay, and with this, today we will end our session, and let us meet in the tomorrow's class. Thank you.